มะยังพันเตติสารเนนะสาหาอาถาปัญจศีลานิยาชามาตุติยัมปิมะยังพันเตติสารเนนะสาหาอาถาปัญจศีลานิยาชามาตติยัมปิมะยังพันเตติสารเนนะสาหาอาถาปัญจศีลานิยาชามา
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
พุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
บุตทังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิบุตทังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิบุตทังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิ
ติสรณคัมมนังนิธิตัง
อามะพันเต
ปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
ปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อทินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อาดินนาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิชาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยมัจจปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยมัจจปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
So now for the 8th preceptor อพรหมจริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อปรมจริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิกาลโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิกาลโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจทีตวาทิตวิสุกทัสสนามาลาคันทวิเลปนะธารณมันดนะวิปูสนาฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจกิตาวริตาวิสุกทัสสนะมาดากันตวิเลปนะดานะมันดนะวิปูสนาฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิปัญจสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิอัตถสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
สีเลนะสุขติงยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพุติงยันติตัสสมาสีลังวิโสทะเย
สาธุสาธุสาธุ Let us pray 3 bow to Ajahn again. First bow. second bound, third bound. Now we shall request for Dhamma discourse.
Brahma Jagoka Thit Bhakti Sahang Bhakti Các tan Jari An Thit Wak Rang Aya Jak Thak San Ti Thak Sak Tak Bak Rak Jak Khak Jak Tik Ka Ke Se Thu Thang Mang Anu Kang Pik Mang Pak Chiang
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมะสามิ Okay, so good morning everybody. So today maybe I continue on for some many questions that people asked me for the first time, and I didn't have time to answer all of those. So maybe I can include that in my topic of my talk today. There's a couple of questions that asked me. Maybe I can repeat the question first. The first one is about how to practice 8 precepts on the work days. Second one is about how to maintain mindfulness all the times. The third one is about the questioner is listen to the Dhamma talk but not meditate. So he asked me how to meditate. And there's a questions about the kilesa, the nivarana, the hindrances, restlessness and pain, how to deal with that, and what to do to start meditate. So all this is related to the meditation. So I will maybe address it together. First of all, the word meditate is kind of new word. I think the word is try to use the Pali words that we use. Normally we use the word Bhavana. The Bhavana from the Bhava mean to cultivate, to develop, to cultivate. So I think the word meditate, it has some kind of narrow down the word Bhavana into just focus, to concentrate the mind, which is only one part of Bhavana. So I prefer to use the word Bhavana, cultivation, rather than meditation, because it's get drawn away by the concept of what you call the preconception idea about what a meditation means. So when people talk about meditation, they usually talking about certain activity, very limited, like going to sit, meditate, walking back and forth, and do something that we call the retreat kind of setting, where we focus on meditation, on my cultivation. But the word bhavana, the cultivation, has at least 4 aspects of bhavana. The word bhavana, cultivation, or make it develop, cultivate. The first area is about kaya bhavana, about physical body. So anything to do with make us healthy. The fact that we exercise, how much that we eat, how much that we sleep. This is all put into the category of body, cultivation. Not in terms of to make it beautification, to make it like a sport or anything like that, but just to have it healthy. Certain exercise I find is very useful, like yoga or tai chi or whatever thing that make your body more flexible, So you can sit about maybe half an hour or 1 hour without pain. That will be useful. So anything to do with the body, how much you eat, not too much, not too little, how much you sleep, not to indulge in sleeping. So that also part of Bhavana. See, so anything you do, including that area, to help your body. This also include the environment as well. To tidy up your place, setting up, remove the trash, mop the floor, make it clean and tidy. So when you sit meditate, you don't have anything to worry about. So that also part of the Kaya Bhavana, cultivation of the physical body. Second area is called the Sila Bhavana. Sila means to interaction with the social world. So the first one is physical world. Now this is social world. So it's now we're talking about taking the precept. Somebody take the 5 precepts. Somebody are more intense, so they take 8 precepts. So this is how we connect with the social world in such a way that we not harm other beings. And also in return, when we not harm other beings, we feel worthy. Our life is worth living, so we not feel remorse and regret that usually accompany the unwholesome life. When you lead a life that is harm other beings, then you're not friendly with yourself either, because you are deep down, you know that you are basically not worth a life, because your life is being such miserable to other people. So this go hand in hand. When you take up the precept, you offer what you call the abhaya dana, the giving away of abhaya, of non-harm. So you don't have to fear me. I will not by any means will hurt you, will exploit you, will abuse you, or anyway, try to communicate in such a true way to help each other develop. So this is also bhavana. See, when the fact that you taking up the precept. And the third area is called citta bhavana, the cultivation of the mind. So I think when we talk about meditation, this is usually fell into this category of mental or mind cultivation, citta bhavana. So of course, citta bhavana also very broad. They include any quality of the mind to make mind more efficient, more endurance, more resilience. Basically the mind is more adaptable, willing to work. It's the mind that still and is ready to work. It's very soft, malleable. You can mold it in any shape. Usually that the word that Buddha used. So such a mind also need disciple. You need discipline. You need discipline for the mind to make it basically train it, almost like you are coaching yourself. So when we talk about meditation, I think we talking about this aspect. Try to train the mind, because the concentration or the samadhi is the highest. That's why we use the words mind cultivation and samadhi together, almost interchangeable, because that's the highest form of mental cultivation is to bring it to one-pointedness, the samadhi. So there are various ways about achieving this. And of course, when we talking about meditate, we talking about taking up certain object called the kammadana, the basis for training the mind. So again, this is also various way. Some object, then you need to be still. For example, the breathing, the breathing and breathing out. This is very refined. So the first thing to do is to find a secluded place, sit down cross-legged, and then you can pay attention to your breathing. So most people, that what most people have in their mind when we talk about meditation. But like I say, the meditation has various aspects as well. There's certain meditation like the metta meditation. to spread loving kindness. It might not need that you find a secluded place. You can do that during your work day when you are meeting your friends or whatever people you find along the way. You can practice spreading loving kindness or the whole Brahmavihara, the loving kindness, the compassion, the sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So I want you to see that there's so many way of training the mind to sit down, quiet space, and do your own thing is only one area of mental development. And the last one is called Panya Bhavana, the cultivation of wisdom. So this one, of course, is in the beginning, it includes studying what the Buddha teach, which is in the Tipitaka or the Sutta. So you can listen to the Dhamma Talk, or you can read the book about the teaching of the Buddha, that how you purify your view. So you try to understand how the Buddha divide this and how he sees the world in such a term of impermanence, unsatisfactory, and not self. But he also divided into material and mind and mental, and the mind can also divide into the feelings, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, things like that you have to study a bit to understand how to contemplate, because if you don't have anything in your mind, the fact that you just sit still, you will not automatically know how to analyze or how to see the world as it is. In the beginning, you have to guide your mind in that way. See what you have to see, mental and body, and the mental you have to divide into these particular groups. It depends on how attachments if you're more attached, so you might have to be divided more. So people have different kind of like and dislikes. That's why the Buddha have so many sutta, and we just have to pick one that at least we understand and try to work things through and study the way the Buddha divided what we call me and mine, and see each one of it that is changing, is basically not sustain itself. It keep becoming something else all the time, and it's not worth clinging that's me and mine. So this is the area of Panya Bhavana that we can cultivate. So this 4 aspects of Bhavana, what we translate as meditation, we have to see how these things work together. And of course, the mental Bhavana, or the meditation that we use in this narrow sense is what probably most obvious. When some people sit quietly or walking slowly, or that particular person is practicing. If they're not doing that, sometimes we think, oh, they're not practicing, but maybe they do other aspects as well. So we have to keep that in mind. So the questions about listen to Dhamma Talk but not meditate. Well, there are certain times that you should listen to Dhamma Talk. Let's listen to it first to know what to do, and then when you understand, then you go and meditate. So, but first you have to listen to the instruction of what to do. So there are many sutta describe the step by step how to practice. You can listen to the Dhamma Talk from Ajahn experience, and then you can learn from that. When we listen to the Dhamma Talk, it's good to pick the sutta that is basically have some kind of overview, and the one I like most is the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, because it's explained to you about mindfulness in the Buddha words. So these questions about how to maintain mindfulness all the time. First of all, you have to know what is mindfulness and what is the foundation of mindfulness. So in this particular sutta, they will divide it into the body, kaya nupassana, seeing the body in the body, vedana nupassana, seeing the feeling in the feeling, citta nupassana, seeing the mind, and then dhamma nupassana, seeing the mental, the component of the mind, or the what we call it, the dhamma in the dhamma. So this, when we will, I recommend that at least you familiarize with this sutta, and then you have to at least know it to a certain extent that you know what is your object of meditation right now. So it's many. If you want to meditating on the mind, on the body, then start with the breathing meditation to the body posture, the minor, all this minor movement, and then the 4 elements, 32 part, and this contribution of the corpse in the symmetry. Each one also can be object of meditation. So if you know variety of this object of meditation, then you can pick and choose which one is suitable for me at this time. So it's good to know overview first, and then when you meditate, when you want to maintain mindfulness, you can basically know what to use as your mindful. See, the mindful is not just something that float in the air. It have to have some kind of peg, to pin it down. So if you want to keep the mindfulness flowing all the time, you have to very skillful, and you have to know all these peg. This is a body. How can I pin mindfulness on the breathing, on the 32 part, on 4 elements, things like that. So I think that is very helpful. And for people who focus on meditation, meditation has the benefit of basically when you meditate, and I mean when your mind is peaceful, what we call it, they develop jhana, or very strong, solid concentration. So the purpose of that is to suppress the nivarana, or the hindrances. There's 5 of them. So you should learn a little bit about what it is. The first one is craving sensual pleasure. You attach to this comfort, your sense pleasure. And the second one is vyapada, basically irritation, ill will, or whatever, maybe some minor thing that you don't like about this particular place or particular person. And the third one is about sleepiness, sluggish. The fourth one is restlessness and aversion, remorse. And the last one is doubt. So when you have this strong, powerful mind, then you can suppress this nivarana, or these hindrances, for a long time. And when you can suppress the hindrances, then you can start vipassana, start to see things as they are, and start to pick up the object, like the mind, and see as it's not changing, suffering, and doesn't belong to you. It doesn't under your control. So if you have so many hindrances, you might want to start with samatha first. Just try to calm the mind and to suppress these hindrances. But if you don't have much of the hindrances, you can start with the vipassana as well. Because some people might not be able to get into deep meditation, into jhana. That's okay, as far as you don't have the hindrances. Then you can pick up and then do some vipassana right away, see things as changing, suffering, and not self, one by one. And you can take turn. Sometimes to contemplate first of this nature, make the mind peaceful. When you see things as they are, the mind is very content and doesn't want to. It doesn't feel like they lack anything. They have to running after anything. The mind is so peaceful, and you can use that as, oh, okay, now I'm more peaceful now. I can focus on certain things. Maybe go back to the breathing, and then go deeper into the deeper state of meditation. And when it come out of that, you can use that whatever feeling that you enter in that state of meditation, you can bring that and vipassana to see that even the refined state of jhana, of this happiness, then is still changing and not really belong to you. You don't have any control whether, I mean, you can develop it, you can cultivate it by being part of those cause and condition, but it doesn't directly under your wanting. I want it to last all the time. I think like that. It will because of cause and condition arise properly, then it will arise. So you can work your way out both calmness and wisdom. And of course, in the beginning, you can use many various kind of skillful means. Try to keep your what you call it, meditate. Some people like to listen to the Dhamma Talk. I also did the same. I feel like when my mind is basically think so much, first of all, it's very difficult to switch that from thinking a lot into just focus to whatever breathing in and out right away. Is for me, it's much more easier to limit the scope first of thinking rather than thinking so many things, just thinking in the wholesome way. Usually listen to Dhamma Talk will basically help me with that. I try to narrow down and to think only in certain way, be skillful. And then after listen to Dhamma Talk, usually the mind is calmed down and it doesn't run away. It doesn't chasing after what you don't like. It doesn't basically try to be afraid of anything. It just be more calm and peaceful. I think that's one of the characteristics of that is that if you listen to the Dhamma Talk, you feel more quiet and more ready to go meditation, ready to letting go. So you can, it depends, like say if you have 1 hour, like I do every morning now, I'm in the scholars kind of setting where I'm doing a lot of reading and scripture and things like that. But the morning chanting is the precious time for me. So 1 hour during that, I will divide it into about maybe 20 minutes of doing some chanting. Usually select the passage of the sutta and do some chanting and translation. And then another 15 minutes, I will listen to the Dhamma Talk, just helping me with different experience of the teacher, how he bring the sutta in his personal way and how to use that to practice. So it's very useful to hear that. They'll basically bring the sutta and how he uses it in his life. And then after listen to that, and then the last maybe 20 or so minutes, and just sit quietly, try to whatever incorporate all the things that you learn, and then try to put that into your own work, into your meditation. So it depends on how you want to divide it up. If you are more inclined toward maybe in early stage, you want to listen to Dhamma a little bit more because you don't know how to practice yet. And then after you practice for a while, maybe just listen to the short, maybe 5 or 10 minutes is good enough, and you want to spend more time on your own to practice. So this thing that you can basically shift, and then depend on what state did you practice, you can use that. One thing that I find helpful is that you meditate for somebody else. I find like if I want to meditate for my own gain or my own happiness, sometimes it just doesn't go so far, because usually I will content as okay, I good enough, I'm happy, my mind is calm a little bit, and it's good enough. But if you try to say practice as a gift or the offering, maybe to your parents, your grandfather, your grandmother, or whatever, your kind of close friends or family, and then you can dedicate, all of this is a merit that I can dedicate when I calm my mind down, when I understand how my mind works. That is the merit I can transfer to other people. So I find that is helpful in terms of pushing me toward more of a rather than my comfort zone. Usually you have your comfort zone, maybe you can sit for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Beyond that, it starts to be more difficult, and then what happens is you're kind of quit. But if you say, okay, the first 30 minutes I'm doing it for myself, I like it anyway. But if it's longer than that, it's a bit difficult. So I will offer it maybe the first 15 minutes to my mother, for another 15 minutes to my father, things like that. I find is helpful, and then able to put you through that. Or you can offer it to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the triple gem. So, of course, they don't need it anymore, but for your own sake, it's called a Patipatti Puja. This is the maybe we don't have the incense and flower and this thing, but you can practice by devoted your time to meditate, and then offering whatever I gain during that period toward Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So I find that is helpful. And of course, to have a routine is very helpful. Like monk, we have a routine in the morning, sitting, chanting, sitting. Sometimes we go for arms. It's a very good way of exercise. And then come back, eat, contemplate the meal, and then during the daytime you can either meditate or reading the books, study. So it's good to discipline a little bit, to divide your time. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then the tendency to go the easy way. Maybe you just don't have anything to do, just play with the phone or whatever, so you lost another half an hour, things like that. So if you set up, okay, this is time where I will sit, or it's a time where I will read, whatever, and then try to stick to that. I think it's helpful that way. Try to, especially the beginner, you need some more kind of timetable for you to do. So if you can't do that, maybe it's good to join the retreat. When you go to the retreat, everybody do it, then you have to join in. So if you have an experience of joining in the retreat a couple of times, until you have a confidence that yes, I can do it, because I've been doing that before with other people. So when you go back by yourself, you can do it, and then start meditate, set time. Also, it's good to have some kind of extra special, like in our monastic we call one pra, the monks' days. So like once a week, where we'll put the extra effort on our practice. Here in Ajahn Chah, sometimes they sit all night, things like that. It's kind of almost like an exam, because if we don't have that, then we tend to be relaxing. Sometimes we slowly drift off. But okay, once a week, we have to go to the exam. Whatever you do during the week doesn't matter. But once a week, then we sit together for the whole night. It's very helpful because you can't hide it. The mechanism that you use to cope with your drowsiness and things like that is you have to bring all your resource, try to maintain awake. So in many areas you can maybe hide it, you can basically bullying it, but when you have to sit with yourself the whole night, you show up whatever thing that you suppress during the week. So it's good to have such kind of the intense once in a while to basically check how far do we go. So in your case, you might want to use maybe on the weekends, just maybe put intensive a little bit. I find it's help. Maybe this time, particular time once a week, then let me face it. Maybe sit longer than you normally sit. If you normally sit, say, half an hour, though you may push it to maybe 1.5 hours, thing like that, and see how it's worked. I think it's that kind of the habit of try to do something beyond what you think you can do it. Sometimes it's help arise kind of energy that sometimes I can do, even though I don't think I can do it, but you can put through it. Sometimes people say, well, I'm not ready. Wait until I'm ready, then I will start meditate. I think that concept is a little bit dangerous because you never be ready. It's better to start before you're ready. You start first because in the beginning it's not gonna be perfect right away, but you start and then you learn along the way. To be ready around the way. When you start, well, I'm not ready. Okay, so this is an area that you have to do. Maybe your life is so busy. Maybe I can cut this and that. This is unnecessary. So just go ahead and start. Make the timetable, start meditate, and then do it. And you can learn from experience. You just that's how we cultivate, how we improve ourselves by doing it first, and then learn from our mistake. So don't fear that I gonna fail and this and that. Fail is good, so you learn from your failure and try to do it better next time. Regarding the pain of meditation, of course, when you sit for a long time, then there will be pain. The first thing is to basically not pay attention to it. If you can, then just stick to whatever your object of meditation. If you are doing the breathing meditation, forget about the pain. Just come back to the breathing. That's probably the easiest one. But sometimes pain come back again, and it's more intense. Then if the pain is more intense and you can't switch back to your regular object of meditation, then you have to use the technique of analyze the pain. Looking at the pain like you are trying to describe it. Say, if you have to describe this to a doctor, maybe you got some grave illness, whatever, and then the doctor want to understand what is the pain is, and you have to describe it to your own doctor. So normally you have to describe it as what is the nature of the pain. Is it the sharp shooting pain, dull edgy pain, burning pain? It's different kind of pain in all. So you just, okay, what is it exactly? What is it like? And then the location of it. Okay, where is it? Where it start? Where it spread to? And then the intensity of the pain. of scale of 10, from 1 to 10. Okay, now it's 5, now it's go to 7, now it's 8, now it's go back to 4. So you can basically try to see that it's not really constant pain. Pain is changing all the time. It's just mix of many things that you lump it together. It's called pain. So when you try to describe it exactly, then you can start to separate. Each one has their own characteristic, and then you learn this, and then you try to more like rather than be subject to the pain, like you are a victim, you try to be in control by observing it. When you're observing it, you will step back and you see the pain as objective thing that you study. So that's one way of studying the pain. So I would recommend that you do that like every sitting. Of course, people have their limit. Maybe you sit for half an hour and your pain start to come. The nature of us is right away. Sometimes we not even notice it. We just shift the posture right away. So that then you're not learning about it. So the pain come is good because that what the reality is, the suffering thing. So then maybe try to sit with it for a couple minutes. Try to learn the pain is like this. It's okay. Just sit with it for a few minutes. You're not gonna die from it, but just to learn from it, and maybe try to analyze, like I say, and learn from this kind of pain. And sometimes the pain go away, and you can, the pain is just pain. It's come and it's go. So we not pay attention to it. We let go of it. Maybe you just feel very peaceful and calm, and you don't have to fear the pain anymore because you have an experience of, I really can truly let go it. So you start to work with it a little bit. Each sitting, maybe at the end, rather than shift the posture right away, maybe just sit with the pain in the last 5 minutes or so. Just okay, maybe let me sit with it for a while. Let me feel what is it like to be suffer, to be pain. So when you build up that kind of attitude toward the pain, then later on, maybe when your times come, when you have really severe or cancer or something that you can't keep the posture and make it go away, then you can have a skillful way to deal with this pain. So it's good to try to learn with that a lot, and also it's helpful to you to learn mechanism, because we use the same mechanism to avoid pain when we dealing with our own thing. The same mechanism that we use with dealing pain. Usually we use it when we meet anything that we don't like in our working life or family life. We try to use this mechanism. So just learn how that works a little bit by bit, and you'll find that pain is interesting. And just of course, if it's too much, then you can be mindful and then shift the posture a little bit, and now see now the pain go away. What is it like now? So just you don't have to basically brush your teeth and then sit with it all the time. Just a little bit each time, because you want to enjoy your sitting, not to think about I have to face the pain again. But the time will come. Some time when the mind is very peaceful and calm, the mindfulness is taking the momentum, the flow is very good. Then at that time you might want to sit with the pain. Once in a while, it just mind is so bright and willing to take up any challenge, and then maybe during that time you can sit longer and then see whether you can learn from the pain. So it is my suggestion. There's some other things about keeping 8 precepts on work days. The 8 precepts is good. I think the older we get, it's good to take the higher training. 5 precepts is basically basic standard. But 8 precept is called renunciation precept. So we can learn more. We don't have to be depend so much on the external object, on this sense pressure. We rely more on our happiness that coming from inside. We generate from understanding, from meditation and things. So 8 precept is the big stepping stone for that kind of happiness by simplify your life. You have to adjust. Depend, it depends on if you work. Sometimes you have the office break between noon and 1 o'clock. So if you strictly keep the 8 precept, then what happened to your lunch? Sometimes it's difficult. So my view is that certain things that it can be flexible. So rather than because of that, then I don't worry about 8 precept at all. No way I can do it. But I think you can just maybe move a little bit. It's okay. You can be 8 precept in your own way. Maybe you can start at 1 o'clock from 1. You have a lunch break as usual. But after 1 o'clock, after you don't have anything solid, it's still better than having 5 precepts. Even though, strictly speaking, you have to use a midday. But in your case, you can as a lay people, you have more room for modifying. You can decide on your own. This is my time of from this. In Pali we call vikala, the wrong time. What is wrong time is you can decide upon yourself from 1 o'clock afterward. It's considered wrong time for me. So the spirit is that you don't have to worry about it so much, and you simplify your life. And then after you have lunch, then that's it. If you keep 8 precepts, you don't have to think about that anymore. You can spend more time on meditation and more studying or whatever. So that is my recommendation. And of course, on the weekdays, then you can basically more strict, because you don't have to depend on other things. You can be more sticking to the rules of this 8 precept. But on the workday, I would tend to say, you have to modify and relax a little bit. As far as it helps you keeping the 8 precept. So I think that will probably some kind of my advice on people who want to keep mindfulness all the time, and how to meditate, and how to deal with the hindrances and the obstacle to meditation. And so I hope that you continue to practice and keep up this Bhavana, the cultivation, all those aspects, the body cultivation, the sila, the social aspect, the mind, and the wisdom. So when you have this Bhavana come together into the Magga, the path, then there will be the powerful tool to cut all the defilements once and for all, to attain the highest goal, the Nibbana. So I would like to offer my reflection for you this week.
Let's say sadhu 3 times sadhu to Ajahn. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And thanks, Ajahn, for giving us a sharing Dhamma Talk. Let us pray to take time bow to Ajahn. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we will continue again for next week, same time, 10 to 11.
All right. See you next week then.